little introduction about Inner Journeys and Priyanka ma'am, with whom we're having this conversation. And she's the co-founder of Inner Journeys, which was established in 2015, and founder director of the Inner Journey School of Sciences that was established in 2019. And she is a clinical hypnotherapist from IMDHA USA, past life regression therapist, Akashic Records healer, psychic and channel. You should really brace yourself because this is a long list of her achievements and what all she does. Certified angel healer, certified crystal healer, certified Ericksonian life coach, and core somatic integration therapist. She's also learned NLP, EMDR, and EFT, like so many things I'm sure many of people would not even have heard about. She's aware of all these things. Even I haven't heard about these things. So mostly what she does, she deals with foreign body attachment cases, energy and space clearances. She's an expert at that. She's also a faculty of the Angel Practitioners training program that happens at Inner Journey School of Soul Sciences. So that's also something that one can look forward to. The people who are connected to us, they keep having those programs. Apart from all these things that she does, she also holds a degree in management and has worked with the Management Institute as an assistant professor. But then life and journey and her destiny led her to where she is, and the divine has led her to this path, which is enabling her to help people like us, seekers like us. And for her workshops, so she keeps switching between Delhi, Mumbai, Rishikesh, so many places she has held her workshops, and also in Bhopal. That happens. She's been recognized for her work with many awards, like the most reviewed healer by Life Positive, which is a medium for all many healers in 2017, facilitated by the Inspire Award 2018 as a master trainer in Akashic Record healing and reading, and was also interviewed by Heal Your Life program on MSTV4, featured as a guest on Good Morning MP show, DD Bhopal, Doordarshan, National Television, Bhopal, 2019. So welcome everybody, and welcome ma'am. Thank you so much for giving your time for this, because I'm sure this will be of immense use and help to people.
Thank you, Kush. It was such a generous introduction. So basically summing it all up, there were different kind of healing modalities that I picked and learned because I felt that not one healing is enough. One modality is enough to help someone heal, because people come to you with different kind of issues. So that is why there's a bouquet of therapies, and then we at Inner Journeys try and integrate and mix and match the therapies for our clients so that it can suit them.
Oh, I'm so sorry. It's just my Facebook live just went on. Yeah, sorry, I was just trying to check if we have any comments. I'm so sorry. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I think that's about me and Inner Journeys you have spoken about.
Right. So, there are many questions that I have received from people before we began this, and some of my own curiosity. So firstly, ma'am, because the topic is inner child healing, the first things first, let's get it out of the way. So we have heard a lot. Now it's getting mainstream about inner child therapy and healing. Can you please share with us, like we are 12-year-olds, what exactly is it?
See, basically to understand inner child healing, we first need to understand the basic structure of our mind, like the theory of mind. So we say that mind has three layers: the conscious, subconscious, and the unconscious layer. Or you can say it has three parts. So the conscious mind is where you store the memories for say 6 to 7 hours. Like what did you have in breakfast or what did you have in lunch? That is all you remember. But if I'll ask you tomorrow that what was it that you had in breakfast yesterday, you will take time to think and respond. And then subconscious mind is the memory bank in which the memories right from your womb till today are stored. Right? So whenever there is a trauma, or where maybe, any incidents which has caused any kind of emotional or physical trauma to you, or any incidents which you feel that had an impact on me, good or bad. So all these memories, imagine them as piles of books or files in your subconscious mind, and our response comes from these files. So like, for example, if I had a memory of my parents quarreling since my childhood, so there would be all my memories of my parents quarreling piled up in one shelf, right? So now if I see someone quarreling, so my response will come from that pile of memories, not to that particular incident which is happening in front of me right now. Right? Then how would, like maybe you were 6, 7, or 8 or 12 when your parents were quarreling or fighting. But at that point of time, how did you feel about it? Did you feel scared, fearful, or angry, or you had resentment for any of the parent? So that feeling will stay with you. Even if that memory has faded out, you don't remember it, but the traces of that memory stay with you. So when you enter into a relationship, you enter with that set of memory with you, and you also enter in a relationship because you have to heal it for yourself. Like in a given environment, say if there were 2 kids in the household, one would respond to the quarreling or the dysfunctional family, maybe will become an aggressor, will become aggressive, and the other child will become, say, very submissive. So now they'll have their own issues dealing with their spouses, because the one who's aggressive will meet maybe an aggressive spouse or a passive aggressive spouse or a submissive spouse, and the one who's passive or submissive will find an aggressive partner for himself or herself, because that is something that you need to heal. Right? Now, coming back to inner child. Now, what happens is that whenever there is a trauma, there is an emotional trauma or a physical trauma or a memory. So now when you're responding to it from the point of your childhood memory, you're actually not responding, say, to the current situation which is happening in front of you. Now, what is happening here is we have one adult self. We say that our personality has 2 sides. One is our adult self and one is our emotional self. So the memories are with the emotional self, or the person
Right.
who's responding to these memories is the inner child or the emotional self. Adult self kya hua? It is the conditioned part of us who's been told this is right and this is wrong, this is the way you behave, this is good and bad. Be a good girl, be a good boy, or be well behaved, be polite. That's the adult self. And the emotional self or the inner child is this hurt part of us, which is responding to the situation based on the memories. Sometimes we don't even remember. So that is what, or where the inner child healings comes into the picture. Like sometimes you have clients who have been through any kind of sexual trauma in the childhood. Either they have an aversion towards sex, or they have a twisted sense of sexuality, and they're not aware of it. That why do I don't like men, or why don't I like women, or why don't I want to have sexual intercourse, or like anything, or any intimate relationship.
Right.
So such things can only be healed by hypnosis, where we take you to those memories in your subconscious and you heal them there. So that is in general, or say in brief, about inner child healing.
So one thing that I understand from this, ma'am, and I think it's some question that comes to my head, because this is what people ask. So inner child literally does not mean something that happened in your childhood. It can be inner child trauma can happen even, say, in your adulthood. Something like, as you said very succinctly, that it's like your emotional self within yourself. So it's not something like somebody may say, oh, I had a good childhood, but if they're suffering in their adulthood, that can also cause like an inner child wound.
Yeah. See, inner child basically doesn't mean bachpan.
Bachpan, that's very
it is your emotional self.
Right.
Which feels hurt or which feels powerless at a given situation. The self could not respond.
Right.
And that could happen in any age.
Correct.
Like, for example, women who go through an abusive marriage, their inner child or the emotional self is constantly being damaged in the marriage. And they could be of any age, from 20, 30 to 40, or any age.
So, ma'am, I think what we can then, if another question that comes related to this, that how can a person know that they need it? Does everybody needed, because as I'm understanding, we all go through these kind of traumas and we see that we are somehow possessed. You don't want to do it, but you end up doing things. Like you're saying that when you saw that example was very beautiful. It helped me really understand that, oh, you saw some trauma in your family, and then on basis of that, you're in a way reacting, not able to respond. So
Yeah.
when people ask, how can I actually know if I actually need it?
See,
Is there any way to know?
generally speaking, all of us have a broken piece inside. And for a simple reason that no kid is born with a user manual. If I was born with a user manual that these are the don'ts and these are the do's my parents should do with me, then everything would be sorted, right? But that's not the case, and every parent is born with the child. So here it is not about blaming the parenting. Parents do the best they can, because they are also coming from their inner child issues. They are also coming from their past hurts, their belief systems. They are also coming from the templates they have grown up with. And then we are not born with a manual, so they don't know what to do with us. So they try and do the best, but still there are times, there are incidences where we feel hurt, or we feel that, we're not being given enough attention, or especially when there are two siblings, or, it's a joint family, or parents have their own inner child issues. So this becomes a major issue, like a major challenge for someone to deal with. So because parenting is very subjective, and also, I've seen so many families where the set of parent was same, even twins who are born to to one parent at the same time.
Okay.
One kid would take the parenting in an altogether different direction because he'll perceive it in a different way, and the other kid would perceive it in an entirely different way.
Entirely different way.
So yeah, we all have a broken piece inside us, no matter how, our parents tried to raise us.
Raise us.
Yes, we all have.
Right.
And secondly, how do you identify it?
Yes.
So if you are stuck in a pattern, that's like if you feel that I'm stuck in a pattern, I keep meeting aggressive people, for example, or I keep meeting people, who push my boundaries.
Right.
Or, sometimes people come to us saying that no matter what I do, people don't acknowledge my work.
Right.
So if you think that you are stuck in a particular pattern, not just with your, say, relationships, in your workspace also, there's a health issue which is not explained medically. If you feel depressed, even if you have everything, but there's a sense of scarcity or lack, that means you're coming from a point of an hurt inner child. So there could be a lot of things which you can. Another very important thing is that if you're not able to manage your temper, you know that you're, like people say, I'm very short tempered.
Yeah.
Or people tell me that I have anger issues.
Right.
Or there are people who come up with saying that, I feel depressed. So that's another sign of something missing in the childhood. So often we feel that, it's people who trigger us. It's people who spoil our mood. So if you feel that the remote control of your emotions is in the hand of someone else, then boss, definitely you need inner child.
That covers, I think, 99.9% of us. So I think there we go. Right. So there is this question. I have two questions actually, but I think Megha's question I'll take later, because that I already had on the list. So please don't worry, Megha. I've noted your question. There is a question from Vaishali Gupta, I think from Facebook, that how does IC healing show up, whether we've healed an issue in our life? So how can we know, ma'am, that? So again, I also had a question. I'll relate this to it. That is doing it once enough? And I think that will also cover some of Megha's question also, because she says that how can we continue to do the work on our own after taking the initial support? So sometimes people wonder, can it just like a one-time thing? Ek baar bas goli le li, chal jayega kaam. Is it like that once ek baar kar liya, or do we need to repeat it?
Okay. See, coming to a therapist or going to a therapist who does inner child healing You might need 1 or 2 sessions with a therapist. Like if you talk of us, like me and Abhishek, that we do at Inner Journeys, we do maximum 2 to 3 sessions for someone, depending on the kind of issues they have. If there is something which is like very mild and minor, it could be dealt in 1 session. If there are lots of issues, substance abuse bhi hai, say anger issues bhi hai, depression bhi hai, so then you need a couple of sessions. But what we try and do in our workshops and in our personal sessions both is that we try to give you tools to handle your triggers, tool to heal yourself. See, because inner child healing is something like an ongoing process. It's like, you practice yoga, right? So योगासन एक बार करने से नहीं होता है, रोज करना पड़ता है,
every day.
So meditation रोज करना पड़ता है. Inner child healing is also something like this, because you have healed a trigger. It will not come up, say 100% intensity, but it may come up with say 50% of the intensity.
Totally.
And slowly and gradually it will fade out. So एक बार में नहीं, वो बोलते हैं ना करत करत अभ्यास से जड़. So that's the same process.
Fantastic. Fantastic. I think so that answers Megha's question. Yeah, that she's saying. So you need, exactly. As you said, she says after taking initial support, how can you continue the journey? So if you are actually, so what we understand for our other audiences as well, taking ma'ams and paraphrasing it in my own words, that you need to approach an authority or a proper certified source or place or center. After getting help from them, then they will teach you the tools through which you can keep applying them, and it's like a lifelong journey. So now Vaishali's question, ma'am, that how do we know that we've healed an issue? How does I see healing show up in our life?
Okay. So see, like I said that if you came to me with an issue, say, I'll give you a very small example. Like I know someone who had a major problem with people calling her a bitch. Okay, call her MCBC, whatever. She won't mind. Right. But call her bitch, she'll come and bite. Fine. So she went to the memory when we did the inner child healing, when the first time she was called a bitch by a classmate. When we healed the memory for her, so next time when someone called her same, see, friends also these days language become very lousy.
Yeah.
Masti mein bhi bol diya, so she would get triggered.
Right.
Once she did the healing, the charge became less for her. Then she knew that, okay, this is my trigger coming from that memory. So then she could take the steps and, soothe herself, calm herself down and tell her that, okay, fine, I'm not reacting to this. I'm reacting to the insult which happened to me in my school. So when she started working on it consciously, mindfully, the trigger went off.
Yeah.
And now she says, fine, I'm a bitch. Step on my tail. I'm going to bite you.
That acceptance comes, yeah.
Works gradually.
This actually brings me to the shadow thing, man. Because now that you talk about that, I think so, because shadow is very, very important. I personally feel, and I have also had the blessing of working with you on it on so many times. But I find it, it's very fascinating. It's something that keeps fascinating me. At the same time, it is challenging. I find it's like the next step from if you've done inner child work. Now it's like the next step that you take. It's the next, and I think Inner Journey is also doing a workshop very soon, which I think the ma'am will be sharing details. We'll be sharing details later as well. So how, ma'am, it's something that I feel when I have conversations with my friends in my circle, that people are completely unaware about this shadow thing. What is it? How can a beginner understand what exactly shadow work or healing?
The concept of shadow work was given by Carl Jung.
Okay.
Long back. And he basically said that shadow is something which can destroy your spirit. It can destroy your relationships. It can destroy all your dreams that you want to fulfill in your life. Because the shadows are the traits which you haven't accepted. This becomes a little complicated. Coming to what Robert Bly had to say about shadow, he kind of explained it very simply, saying that imagine that you're carrying a bag on your back, holding a bag on your back. And what you do all first 20 years of your life is, if someone says, okay, being, say, greedy is bad, So you pick that shadow and shadow or the trait, you pick it up and put it in that bag. Somebody says you are impolite. Okay, it goes off in the bag. Someone says you get upset very soon.
Oh.
Goes in the bag. My mom said, be a good girl, be polite and nice to your elders. Okay, fine. So I need love and acceptance and approval from my parents.
Yeah.
So it goes in the bag.
Right.
You should not be competitive. You should not be jealous.
Right.
You should not be, say, aggressive.
Correct.
So what is happening? In order to gel up or to be accepted in the society, we condition ourselves so that the traits which are not accepted by the society, we keep hiding them in this bag which we are carrying on our back.
Wow.
Okay. So first 20 years of our life, according to Robert Bly, we keep putting the traits there. And then rest of the life, we carry that bag on our back and shoulders. And that is why our personality becomes dented or we bend.
Bend, yeah.
Because I remember what Jung said. He said that one does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious.
Wow. Wow.
So here he's simply trying to say that the traits that you disowned, they have taken a back seat. You put them behind. You have locked them up.
Right.
Because you see them as dark. And that is why we call them shadows. But
that explains it.
But the beauty of a shadow is that every shadow has a gift for you.
Oh.
Like if you accept the aggressive part of you, the aggressor in you, then you can find the gift of assertiveness in it.
Yes.
So if you accept, say, the manipulator in you, then you can become calculative. Or you can become a negotiator.
Negotiator, yes.
Right? If you learn to speak up for yourself or what is there in your mind and drop, say, the injunction of being a good girl or a good boy, then you can define your boundaries with people. You can become assertive.
Assertive, yeah.
But assertive बनने के लिए पहले aggressor को accept करना पड़ेगा.
Yeah.
So that is how, that's what is the concept of shadow, and that is how. So what we do in shadow work is we help you accept it and then heal the memories from where you have dropped the shadow or the trait.
Right.
कौन सा ऐसे incidents है जहां पर आपने वो trait drop किया है because you wanted approval from your parents.
Right.
Approval from the society.
Society.
You go to that point, heal it.
Yeah.
Embrace that trait and then help you find the gift in it.
Right. Right.
See, because with every trait, you're also dropping a part of you. So if you keep dropping the traits, you're also defragmenting yourself.
Oh.
You're also reducing the energy or the strength you are carrying with yourself.
Wow. Yeah.
So it becomes very important to integrate with your shadows or all your traits to live a fulfilling life. So now coming back to what I said about Jung initially, what did he say? He said that you need to accept it because a shadow can actually break your relationship.
Break your relationships. Yeah. Right.
So that is what he meant, because if I don't use my assertiveness because I've dropped aggression, if I don't use my negotiator, or if I don't use my traits of like, say, where I can like stand up for myself or I don't need approval from people, then how will I achieve my dreams?
Exactly. I'll be taken for a ride. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It becomes pretty messy. So just like, again, one of the final questions here, but so inner child, okay, we understand, okay, if you're being, if you're feeling wounded, anything, if you're reacting to situations, etc., we are certain that almost 99% of the people do need it. How do we find that a shadow is controlling my life? Because it can be very subtle to as even the concept is so subtle, I think perhaps I'm guessing it will be very subtle to even grasp it. If a shadow is controlling my life, I'm being controlled by it.
Most of us are not aware that
Hmm,
actually our shadows are controlling us.
Yeah.
But the catch here is that if I ask you to tell me 5 things you dislike in others, okay, so now these 5 things you dislike in others are actually your traits, which
Right.
and because you're not using those traits and other person is using it, you're getting irritated by it.
Fantastic. Yes. So perfect.
I think this is one of the quickest way to understand.
Ways to understand.
I see people telling me, I hate liars, I hate manipulators, like people who are judgmental. And I say after, when they're done with the whole list, and everybody has this shadow or, the trait they don't like in others is judgmental.
Judgmental.
So I end up asking them, aren't you judgmental right now, making this list of 10 things about these people? So we all are judgmental.
Right. Yeah.
But if you accept this trait of being judgmental, it will help you get a perspective about people.
Wow.
Right? You'll be able to objectively see people. But for that, you need to accept the judgment, the judgmental part of you.
Right.
Like, I don't like liars. All right. So my next question is, where are you lying to yourself?
Are
you living a dual life?
Dual life, yes.
I don't like my husband because he's a liar. Okay. Where are you lying? I don't lie. Okay. So does your family and your friends know that you and your husband are not having a good relationship? No, वो तो घर की बात है. So I said, aren't you?
Wow. That makes it really easy, to understand.
So it's like very, very easy to understand. Whatever is triggering you in other,
yes.
That's the shadow you need to work upon. And universe is so that whatever you kind of get irritated with, it keeps sending it to you. Because universe wants you to heal it. Universe wants you to accept that trait in you. So you will keep attracting people like this. Right. So it's like very it's like a wonderful thing. Whatever I need to heal in myself, I'll keep attracting those kind of people. If I need to be assertive, I'll keep attracting people who are aggressive and will push my boundaries.
Wow.
So that I can know my boundaries.
Right.
And then God will tell me, okay, fine. One person came, encroached your boundaries. Are you listening?
Are you listening?
No, I did not listen. Next person will come with more aggression. God will say, now you want to listen. So God will give you a lot of chances.
Right.
But then you will have to heal it.
I think all of us who are here right now, all of us are getting the privilege of listening to it live. I think most of us could relate. I'm being able to relate to so many things. Even though I've done this, it's like an education for me in itself. It's fantastic, ma'am. So, but the final question that I'll just like to conclude, given so much time, thank you so much for that. Again, this comes up with so many people, ma'am. I think, again, this is a little extension of Megha's question only. Can we do it on our own selves? What is the need to go to a therapist? Sounds easy. Yeah, I can find what triggers me and then, but
Okay.
why actually approach a therapist? Why do we need a proper guidance for it? I know the question, the answer, my heart is telling me the answer, but I think I need to hear it from you.
Okay. So, Acha, tell me one thing. If you have ever visited an amusement park, and usually they have that bush wala maze there. And once you enter it, then you have to go here and there, right, left, and all the places to find the way out in the maze.
Right.
If somebody is watching you from, say, like a bird's eye view, or from a drone, and giving you instructions, ki turn right and turn left,
yes,
will you be able to come out of the maze better or quickly than by doing it yourself?
By doing that ourselves, maybe we come back to the starting point again. We're able to enter it and lost. Yeah.
So that is why you need a therapist.
Yes.
So that the therapist can tell you that, okay, fine, now turn right, now turn left. You have to go ahead and then take another turn.
Right.
And also, when we are so much stuck in our own shadow, or say in our inner child issues, we are already dealing with a lot in our subconscious mind.
Right. Right.
It's not like you can't give a high five to yourself, right?
Right.
Even the doctors can't operate on themselves.
Yes. Right.
You need a therapist to
Therapist,
guide you,
guide you through it.
because objectivity खत्म हो जाती है.
Correct.
And most of us are so stuck in our victimhood. You know, this happened to me, that happened to me. We keep blaming people for whatever has happened to us.
Right. And fresh issues can come up even if you're following something new comes up.
With that perspective of me being in a state of victimhood, that my parents wronged me, my partner wronged me, my friends wronged me,
Yeah.
there are feeble chances that you will be rationally and objectively thinking about the solution.
True. Absolutely.
Solution is there in our mind. Our subconscious mind has solutions with it.
Yeah.
What a therapist does is it helps you get acquainted with the solution. There's something which you're not able to see.
Right.
We just help you see that. Because most of the time when we ask a client, you know, if someone is going through a crisis and we ask him, "Acha, what suggestion would you give a friend if he was in a similar situation?" Then they come with one-page answer. All the guidance.
Guidance, yeah.
Do this and you should do that and this and that. But for us, we are not able to think.
Not able to think, yeah. Correct.
So that is why.
That maze example works perfect because you're in there. How can you, you need somebody who's detached and away from it. Perfect. Thank you so much, ma'am. I think this was really, really useful. And I think people who even watch the reruns, it will be really, really useful for them because this really, really helps out. And I think the workshop is coming up, the inner child workshop. And I'm sorry, the shadow work workshop is coming up on 15th.
Next weekend it is, 9th.
Next weekend, right? Okay, yeah.
So it's next weekend. See, the basic idea between having the workshop, we get a lot of cases where people want to come for one-on-one inner child healing session or shadow work sessions.
Right.
We prefer doing it in a workshop because it helps us understand our clients better. We can spend more time with them. Plus, we can give them more tools to deal with their issues and heal themselves.
Yeah.
And then in the group, when people exchange their cases or their and talk about it, a lot of insights come.
Right.
And workshops are always better because there are lots of exercises that we do.
Yeah. Deal about it.
Like a fresh perspective towards life.
Yes.
Or abhi, after the COVID, you know, when people have actually stayed at home and had to live with their parents or live with their spouse, like, you know, for
yesterday only I met somebody who was saying exactly the same.
Now what happened is कि because spouse के साथ ऐसे ही होता है, they are exactly opposite. Because you will find a match for yourself who's actually exactly exhibiting the traits of your father or your mother.
Wow.
And then you've already irritated with it, you're not able to deal with it, and you have a spouse in front of you 24/7 who's behaving just like your mother or your father. So now the need for healing the inner child has increased because now we have understood the value of relationships more after this whole crisis. And also people have had a lot of triggers. You know, people, because all these issues like depression or anxiety, even the clinical issues where like people go to psychologists for that. But they're all basically coming from the inner child.
Inner child, yes, that is very important. Yeah.
One can only get depressed if there was a feeling of lack in the childhood.
True.
See, people do have breakups.
Yeah.
Why? Maybe you after a breakup would bounce back on another relationship and someone else would stay stuck in that Devdas mode for like a year.
Yes.
Because that person already has an abandonment issue coming from the childhood.
Right.
And thus the depression.
Yes.
People had a lot of anxiety issues because bachpan mein they had seen an incident or a trauma. You know, somebody died.
Yes.
All of a sudden. So now that memory was getting triggered. What happens if somebody dies here all of a sudden? So people are becoming more aware of inner child issues. They are becoming more aware of their shadows. And also they are becoming more aware that, you know, we have to give a good upbringing to our kids. Because people having inner child issues, giving birth to a child and raising a child it's a disaster. I wanted
Actually,
to talk about it in my workshop that having a kid and raising a kid is such a big work. It's a
big
lot of
work.
responsibility. There is a voting age. You give us driving license to drive a car, and you know you have to be an MBA to work in a company, or you give you degree of being an engineer or a doctor. But there is no formal training happening here to be a parent,
Wow. Yes. Yes. Exactly.
and that's
Everybody is clueless.
the thing to do. You're creating a human being or a person who's going to be someone's husband or father or brother
Of the society. Yeah.
or worker. You're creating a member for the society, and you have no idea how you're raising it
Right.
or what are you turning that child into.
Correct.
So people who come to us for inner child healing, they say that, oh shit, I fucked it up because I have done something with my kid. I know my child will need healing.
Wow. Yes.
So I think this is the time when we need a lot of workshops and sessions for inner child healing and shadow.
Inner child healing and shadow work. Yes, and there's some many very nice comments here. Vaishali is thanking you for answering the question. Preeti says very powerful. Prerna Jindal says very beautifully explained, and Preeti is again agreeing to something that you said. So I think this was really good. Thank you so much, ma'am. Lots to think about, and of course we'll be sharing about it. And I definitely feel that it should be done by everybody because I've gone through certain things. I still have to seek help, and I realize it's
process. We have to keep healing it. We have to keep dealing with it. And also, it's important that we we say that if you want to heal your inner child, if you want to heal a wound or a trigger, or we want to heal a shadow, the first thing is to accept it. So once you accept it, then you have empathy for yourself. Then you try to soothe yourself, and then comes reparenting, reprogramming. So once you're able to do that with yourself, then you understand the process. Then you can deal with your life challenges better. And you can finally take the remote control of your emotions or of your life back from the people and keep it to yourself.
Keep it to yourself, yeah.
And you can't then blame people saying, mujhe gussa dila diya, and you upset me and you cause depression to me or you give me anxiety. Because nobody does it to you.
Yeah.
Do it to yourself.
Do it to yourself.
So, we all talk about, we have like spiritual beings, we should not get bothered about what people are talking about us, and we should not get angry and upset. But that's all a superficial thing.
Yes. Just
if you really want to grow spiritually, then you need to work on your shadows and because otherwise what you're doing is your outer demeanor is behaving like a spiritual person there sitting on Himalayas and meditating. Himalay पे तो कोई भी meditate कर लेगा ना, because वहाँ family TV नहीं है, बच्चे नहीं trigger करने के लिए. हिमालय से वापस आओ, घर में 2 दिन रहो, फिर पता चलेगा कि triggers है कि नहीं है. If you really want to grow, spiritually evolve, then you have to do your work.
Have to do this work, yeah.
That's why it is important. So that even if somebody is saying something to me, I'm not getting irritated because I've worked on that trigger.
Yes.
So growing spiritually actually means working on your shadows, working on your triggers.
Wow. That's a very important point.
That's what self-control is all about.
Right. I think Megha says that she was able to relate to every word that you shared here. Wow.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much. So of course, we'll be, yes, of course, it's a lovely gift. She says it's a lovely gift for her. Thank you. Thank you so much. And I hope, and I really hope that, everybody here and everybody who watches the rerun takes out the maximum benefit out of it. Thank you for your time, ma'am. Really grateful. And
thank you so much
and I think we should also do an Instagram live soon, because there are people who are there. There's an entire audience who needs to be introduced to these things. They're waiting for it.
Definitely. We'll do that.
Right. Perfect. Thank you so much, ma'am.
So much for joining in today. And thank you so much, Kush. Your questions were actually very stimulating, and I think I overspoke, I think.
No, but this was needed, ma'am. I think, yeah, because I think you were, in spirit and everything just came out. Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Bye. Thanks.
Bye.